Hi everyone, my name is Heather and I'm the person behind Happy Puppy Truffles. Today I thought I'd share with you guys a shikishi or display board origami that you can do to kind of help celebrate Setsubun, which is the 2nd of February, and that's a special holiday in Japan where we kind of throw nuts at people who are dressed up like oni or what do you call those? Probably like ogres. And the idea is that you're throwing out the bad spirits in your home and welcoming in the good spirits. And so it's kind of actually falls in line with the Chinese New Year too, and it's just sort of a leftover tradition from that. And it's really popular, especially with young kids. They do this a lot at kindergarten and preschool. Somebody will dress up like a oni with an oni mask, and then they throw nuts at them. And then you're supposed to eat nuts afterwards. You eat as many nuts for how old you are, or you will be that year. But people usually eat a lot more, of course, too. So yeah, this is kind of what I was going to be sharing with you guys today. And I have my shikishi here. This is just a board we use for calligraphy and artwork and paintings and origami and stuff. And I put a piece of yellow paper down here just for fun, some nice kind of gold colored paper. And I thought I'd try this time just something a little different to kind of use some origami pieces that we might know that could help us make the shapes that we see like in the mask of an oni. So I've got this nice red color. The oni usually is red or blue, and we can kind of align this depending on how big his face winds up being as we do this. I'm not quite sure if I'll need two or not. Then I thought we'd take like a tree origami, and it's just a good way. This is the tree origami. If you want to, you can leave it stretched out and then just fold it in half, and you get this top part that can serve as a really nice horn. So that's just one way to do that. So I'll show you guys how to fold the steps for that. I used some paper that is Tante paper for all of this, and I can kind of tell you guys the dimensions for some of this stuff as we go. Let me start first with that. The horns, like I said, are made with a tree origami, and I used 15 by 15 centimeter paper, and you need 2 of those. His nose is going to be made from a dog origami, and you only need 1 of those, and that's 5 by 5 centimeters. His face is just plain paper, and that is just 15 by 15 centimeters, maybe 2 of them. His mouth is going to be made from a pinwheel, so we'll get those nice little funny teeth that he has, and that's with 15 by 15 centimeter paper. You just need 1 of those. Then also his eyes are going to be made from leaves, and we'll just do some little adjustments to that, and you'll need 2 of, and that'll be 3.5 by 3.5 centimeters. And then his hair also is going to be made from leaves, and this is about 3.75 by 3.75. That's 1/4 of the size paper. That way you can get 16 sheets from 1 sheet of paper. And I folded all 16. I'm not sure yet how many I'll use as I do this, but just so you guys know the general idea of stuff here. And I'll kind of show you where I make adjustments with stuff, but that's the pieces I've used to make my kind of oni here. So I'll show you guys how. First of all, we've got the tree, for example, and when you do the tree, you don't need to do all the steps. We're just going to fold in half, and then just go ahead and fold your paper towards the center. Now you certainly could just cut pieces out if you wanted to, but I thought this is kind of a fun way to use some origami to make things. Flip it over and fold this part in half too. And then really you can just stop here. We'd normally fold up everything, of course, to make it tucked under to look like a tree, but I'm just going to leave it at this step right here and just fold in half so that I'm not looking at the seam anymore. You know, try to include that as you fold it here. And if you want, while you're working on other things, you can go ahead and glue that in half so that when we do have this stuck underneath things, it doesn't kind of get in the way. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue here to try to keep things together. And when you put the horns, you'll have one facing to the right and then one facing to the left. And it's just one quick way to kind of make the triangular shape we need. If you're looking to just be creative with origami, this can be a fun way to do things. If you're looking to conserve paper, this is probably not what you want to do. But if you're just looking for a fun way of kind of using origami to make a face, especially because this is a mask, this would be kind of a fun way to do that. So I've got those two pieces complete. And you can put them underneath something, you know, heavy if you need to kind of keep things down. The part that's the pinwheel here, kind of show you how it looks. Yeah, this is the paper that I'm using. I used white for his mouth, and this is the pinwheel folded. And then what I thought we could do is we can just fold right through one of these diagonal creases, so you wind up with kind of a rectangular shape. But then you can take the middle parts and fold them down, and you wind up getting those nice cool little teeth that like Oni have. So that's one way to kind of create that shape that kind of looks like a cat head in a way. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here too to try to keep things kind of together. And then of course when we put everything down, we'll be able to get even more chance to kind of secure everything. But this way you can really kind of keep it with some good creases, keep it flat so that you have the bottom teeth there that you need. And then I'm just going to slide that under something to kind of give it a chance to sort of flatten out. And then I had my little dog that I made here. And this little dog, like I said, was made out of 5x5 paper. And I just used a little darker red to kind of show the difference between his regular skin, which is red. This is the completed dog, and what I thought might work better rather than having little flaps sticking up is I'm going to make this the back side actually, and just reverse that bottom fold that made the chin, and then turn it over, and then you basically get kind of a nose shape with these little nostrils right here. And when you put it on the paper, you can see here that kind of makes a cool little nose shape. So that will glue down pretty easily for when we do stuff. And then for the little bit here for the eyes, like I said, I used 3.5 paper. You could use 3.75 too, it doesn't really matter. But you wind up getting this basic leaf shape by folding the sides down. And then I just wanted to kind of round it out to make more of an eye shape. And so I just took a little bit of this tip and folded it down. And then this is basically like the left eye. Rather than having this little extra point that's here, I just tucked that right underneath, and then you still get this nice little point right here on the side to kind of taper off to show that this is the left eye. And then I reverse those techniques to do the same thing for the right eye. So you've got the two eyes then. And then to finish things off, I made lots of leaves to make his hair. Now the Oni usually has like curly yellow hair. And I just kind of thought this would sort of be a kind of close representation. Not really. I mean, this is more like kind of straw-like hair. But I just made the leaves, and then kind of with the same technique we use with the eyes, just get rid of this excess little tapering piece by just tucking it behind. And then we can just kind of layer these all over the place to kind of create the little locks that are for his hair. It's point of preference to you if you'd like to make them more rounded. I kind of liked the sharpness of these points on either side, so I'm leaving them the way they are. But I made 16. We'll see how many we use when we put everything together. So I've got my board here, and we can kind of play around with where we want to put everything. And I've got, let's see here, I've got my two horns. I could probably do those first, just gluing them onto the back of this first piece of paper here. And you do want to consider that, you know, you want to have a little bit of space at the top. I'm going to kind of do this at an angle when I do this. I'm going to put also a layer of hair, so there's just going to be a tiny little bit of the horn sticking up at the top. This kind of looks pretty good right here. So if I kind of turn things over, and it's almost basically just kind of going right to the bottom of this 15 by 15 paper, and with a little bit of glue I can get that kind of taken care of first. And then you can kind of use the edges as a guide to make sure that you get, you know, the right amount kind of on both sides here. So I need this to be a little bit more to this side here. And you can use, you know, just your finger to kind of judge if you're getting that lined up right. But that could kind of give you a little finished square piece with those horns right there at the top. And then, if I kind of look at things, I can kind of see, I'm sort of leaning towards only using one piece of paper here. Let's see here, let me get my teeth out. I think he kind of looks kind of cool just sort of with this square shape. So I probably don't need to use this other piece of paper here, and we can just focus on using one square piece. It kind of looks more like a real mask in that sense. So in terms of this part that you guys saw here, I'd probably just say to use one is probably good enough for that. If you want a more elongated kind of looking mask, then you can kind of add a little extra to the bottom. That's just sort of up to you guys. But what I'm going to do is just start off first down here with getting his teeth down, because that's always a good thing to kind of get in place. So put a little bit of glue on that, of course. And then we can kind of lay this down. And he has that nice big jaw with his big teeth sticking up there. Nice white teeth. And again, this is all using Tarte paper so that we can kind of get this nice group of colors. His nose is even kind of a little on the small side, depending on, you know, how you like your Oni to look. But he's got a little nice small nose there. And I'm just going to kind of place the eyes for a second to give me a second to kind of see how things look. And you can kind of make them a little angled or straight or a little goofy. It's up to you guys. I'm going to kind of just leave them like this. And give myself a little bit of room at the top then still for the hair. So you kind of can position the face a little low down if you can. So I'll glue down the nose first of all. And you can kind of use the guidelines of what you've got there for the mouth to kind of help you along to make sure it's centered. Get any extra glue out of the way if you can. And then I can go ahead and finish off his eyes as well. And you do just want to try your best to keep some of these little flaps, of course, tucked under. It helps if you can have a little bit of glue on those. Get that as kind of centered and arranged as you like. So I've got my little Oni face there, kind of a nice little mask. And then I'm just going to go ahead first and make sure I get a good placement here on the board. And then I'll go ahead and add all of the pieces of his hair, because some of them will need to stick to the background. So just go ahead and first put a good layer of glue on the back here and get the part that has his horns too, of course. Get that all layered up with a lot of glue. And that kind of gives a nice little finished off place there for everything. And then we've just got the little bits of the leaf that we can then use to kind of accent his hair. And I'm just going to start off by putting a layer that's a little high, and then I can do the bottom layer kind of on top of it. It's a little harder to do it the other way around, so we'll make sure I still get a chance to get these pieces glued down good. So I'm going to kind of start up a little high here. and get these kind of glued across, and then I'll show you guys how it looks here as I go along. So when you're done, you might have something that looks kind of like this. And I did just kind of use, I didn't wind up using all of them. I had 6 and then 7 along the bottom, so 13, and I had 3 left over then, of course. But that's just sort of one fun way that you can kind of arrange some origami you might already be familiar with to make something kind of fun and new. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Setsubun and a happy Chinese New Year if you're celebrating, and I'll have some more fun projects to share with you guys in the future. Thanks again so much for watching. Bye!